One of the most requested integration is finally here, ContentStudio and Make.com. Now you can finally start creating automation here as well, connecting apps and letting your content run smoothly in the background. Hi, this is Amna from ContentStudio, and as promised, this is a video entirely about Make. I shared one about Zapier and I'll link it here if you want to check it out. But today we're gonna learn how to make our very first automation workflow inside Make, also known as a scenario. When you log in to your Make account, your dashboard shows you your current usage, active workflows, and templates. Templates are ready-made workflows you can search, browse, and customize. But for today, we're going to be building a scenario manually, so let's click on Create a Scenario. The idea is simple. Whenever I update the Notion calendar, I want it to be automatically scheduled in Content Studio. To start, you'll need to choose the app that acts as your trigger. In this example, I'm going to use Notion. So the first module in this scenario is Notion. You'll see different trigger options like watch database item or watch changes. I'll go with watch database item, which means automation will run every time a new entry is added. So obviously, Make needs access to your Notion board to fetch the data. When you create a new connection, it will open a window asking for authorization. Here you can decide exactly which databases Make should have access to once you confirm the connection is ready. Next, you'll need the database ID. Just search for the name of your Notion database and Make will pull up the ID automatically. Then set the output limit, one item per cycle if you want it processed one by one or more if you prefer bulk. Next, you can also choose when the automation should start. That sets up the trigger. Notion sends the data to Make whenever a new entry is added. Now let's decide what happens with that data. So the next module is Content Studio. You'll connect your Content Studio account with Make using an API key. To get that key, go to your Content Studio profile settings, open the API section, generate a key, and copy it into Make. That's what gives Make permission to send posts directly into your account. Once connected, you'll configure the action. First, select the workspace, then pick the social accounts where the post should go. Then you will have to map the fields for your Notion database into Content Studio's post fields. So in my Notion calendar, I already have a table set up with 3 columns: caption, image, link, and due date to make things easier. So now I just map those fields. Caption goes into post text, image link goes into post image, due date becomes the scheduled publishing time. Content Studio requires scheduling dates in a specific format: year, month, day, followed by hours, minute, and seconds. If your Notion date isn't formatted in this way, Make will throw an error. To fix that, you can insert another module from Make's Tools section, use the set variable function, and it will ask you to name it. After naming it, you will add the format date formula. So this takes the original due date from Notion, reformats it into the structure Content Studio expects. In this formula, before the semicolon, you input the original date from Notion, and after the semicolon, you add the format that you want. So that is year, month, day, followed by hours, minutes, and seconds. Now, instead of mapping Notion's raw due date, you'll map the formatted date from the Tools module. So you'll change the scheduled posting time in Content Studio to the formatted date. Now let's test the setup. Add a new entry in Notion, then inside Make, run the scenario once. Here's what happens step by step. The data is fetched from Notion. The Tools module formats the date and time. Content Studio receives the post with correct caption, image, and scheduled time. The output should confirm success, showing the post has been created. Now you can turn this automation on and select the time interval for which each cycle should run. You have different options here you can choose from. As you populate the calendar, it will schedule the posts. Now to check within Content Studio Planner, going into Publisher and then Planner, you can see in your content calendar that the posts are coming in as this automation cycle is running. And that's it. You have just made your very first automation workflow inside Make using Notion and Content Studio. This was just one example, but the possibilities are endless. You can connect various apps in one workflow. So if you like working visually and like having control over your automation, Make is the perfect way to do so.